The Planet of Children. A script of Abderrazak Benjema. Published by Luxor Production. Tunisia. All right reserved for all countries. Copyright 2009. International Standard Book Number 9789973078063. Your history books teach that capitalism liberated production forces, that socialism liberated workers, that Abraham Lincoln bestowed freedom on slaves, that Simone Weil abortion law liberated women, but children have been, always and everywhere, forgotten by history. Synopsis. To save his multinational company from bankruptcy, an international businessman decides to bring together 7 children with no future, from different countries, to make of them the instruments of a grand marketing campaign. But contrary to all expectations, these children decide to divert this international show, to try and take power in the world, in order to implement a very original political program, but that adults can neither understand, nor accept. 1. Exterior in the open sea day. Underwater. Underwater, a smoothly moving vague silhouette can be seen from far away. A closer view allows to see a 14-year-old child, with long flowing hair, and searching eyes, apparently hesitating, but for a fleeting moment, as to the direction to take. Then, with a determined forward movement of his shoulders, he heads towards the coral barrier, which he starts inspecting, pulling occasionally a coral branch, and putting it in the wickerwork basket he carries at waist level. After a few fruitful searches, he swims in a fast vertical ascent to the surface. As the little dark silhouette draws nearer to the light at the surface, an imperceptible low sound can be heard, growing louder and mingling with the murmur of the sea. As he is about to reach the surface, he suddenly grows aware of the danger, and tries to swim away. But the propeller catches him. His muffled screams are lost in the gurgling water. Myriads of blood drops and air bubbles are sprayed up in the water. Mangled body parts can be seen emerging in a purple wash. Witness to the scene, his father, an elderly Polynesian, standing up in a pirogue, arms outstretched to the sky, shouts his grief to the ocean immensity, while the culprit yacht suddenly changes course. 2. Interior. A spacious living room somewhere in New York City, poetry evening. Eva is reciting a poem. A cleverly arranged light flirts with the contours of her face. The remaining parts of the scene are almost covered in total darkness. Eva. On the table, champagne, folly, and miscellaneous lies. The world around me is nauseating. No poem quivers, alive, in the air. Silence these men, lock up these women, and let me shed tears of despair. When the light is turned on, applause bursts out. A few flashlights. A fairly pretty brunette, in her early 30s, smiles faintly to her audience. Mike, a 40-years-old man with sparkling eyes, and a charming smile, goes to her possessively, clapping and nodding to the public on his way. Gloria, a pleasant-looking lady of a certain age, comes close to the couple. Gloria. I hope you were not meaning us, my dear Eva, because I love your verses. Mike. She can afford bashing people around her. Writing verses is an affordable luxury for the wife of a billionaire. And he bursts into loud, self-satisfied laughter. Then, Gloria pulls familiarly his wife from his grip. Gloria. Mike, I think we shouldn't have invited you. Then, the two women mingle with the guests. Amid the smiling crowd, the insisting look of a young woman with strong features, following this scene with quite some interest. 3. Exterior, in an African forest, afternoon. In the last afternoon hours, a strange silence hovers on the woods. The human shadows lurking in the foliage can hardly be seen. On the other side, a village where life is peacefully going on. Women are grinding millet. A little girl is gathering wood. Far away, a nanny goat, worried, stops grazing. When the little girl reaches the edge of the forest, and raises her head, she finds herself face to face with a huge black man staring blankly at her. The nanny goat is bleeding in panic. The little girl, lifted from ground, eyes wide open with terror, doesn't even see her death coming. She falls with a thud like a rag doll. Suddenly, the group of adolescent soldiers run down the slope leading to the village, weapons ready to fire, yelling and howling like wolves. As in a dream, the rattle of gunfire, the shouts of fugitives, the moaning of the wounded finished off with machetes, and the silence of death. The soldier's commander, talking to a child who was especially ruthless during the massacre. "Mendy, you deserve a reward. You're getting harder." The man enters a hut, and then comes out dragging from the collar a young woman covered with blood. The soldier's commander, "They're us for you." The 14-year-old boy catches his prize from the back of her bloody tunic, and drags her to the trees close by. As they disappear in the foliage, one can hear vague tiger-like growls. 4. Interior. A spacious living room. Somewhere in New York City. Night. In the semi-darkness, and restored silence, Eva softly reads more verses, her face clouded with pain. Eva. I have put the world in a few and one verses. Read them if you can, to give your life some meaning. And my delirium too. Folly dragging me, nearer to the abyss. And at the rail I see you, relishing my fate. 5. Exterior. Night. After quite a long time, a dark limousine can be seen driven at slow speed in the city streets, like a hearse. 6. Inside the limousine. Night. Inside the limousine, Mike, sitting in the back passenger seat with Eva, is guffawing. Mike. Do you really think I am as sadistic as you said in your poem? Eva answers, almost absent-mindedly. Eva. It has nothing to do with you. But as usual, you always bring things back to you. Mike stares at her, his mouth twisted in a grimace. Mike. For once, I'll agree with you. And he firmly pulls her to him, as if to humiliate her. But she tries to escape his grasp. In the rear-view mirror, she catches a glimpse of Kenny, the driver, looky. 7. Exterior. Night. Eva. Please, Mike, this is hardly the right moment. Mike. A poet and a conformist. Don't you see a contradiction? Then, looking at the rear-view mirror. Don't tell me you mind Kenny. He's not a real guy, you know. And he leans over her, while Kenny turns his eyes away from the rear-view mirror. During quite some time in the night, the dark limousine turns in the streets of the city, with Mike's coarse laughter and Eva's feeble pleadings. Eva. Please, Mike. No. Please. 8. Inside the limousine. Night. Eva point of view. Eva is gasping for air. Short quick shots seen from the car's side windows, now and then, a stolen look from the driver. The heavy body of a man, who cannot manage to reach a climax. A bizarre stain on the car's ceiling, the siren of an ambulance, slowly fading in the night. 9. Interior. An apartment. Afternoon. A young brunette, not so pretty, in a dressing gown, enhancing her vigorous fit body, walks to the bar of a luxuriously furnished living room, to fill 2 glasses. Sandra. Mike, a double scotch? Mike is watching the television, bare-chested. His muscular body gives the impression of self-assured strength. Mike. All the while continuing to watch TV. Yeah. The strongest there is to help me swallow what she's going to tell. Sandra. Sitting and giving the filled glass to Mike. Then why on earth did you marry her? Mike. After a moment's silence. She was the missing jewel on my crown. I wanted to seize in one hand, both art and money. Sandra. Mike, you always covet what you don't have. And once you think you've got it, there it goes again. Accompanying her words, with a proper hand gesture. Women. The world over should rebel against marriage. No sooner does a man marry a woman, than she loses all her qualities. Then, raising her glass in a mock solemn gesture. I. Sandra Clark, take a vow of celibacy. Mike. Raising also his glass. To the abolition of marriage. 10. Exterior. A public square in Bombay. Day. In the afternoon, the big Korai Square in Bombay is teeming with people, with its multicolored buses, thousands of cyclists, vociferous voices, chaos and smells of spices. In the vast ground reserved for various performers, healers and fire eaters, it seems that anything can be found. Toothless elderly women peddling charms, medicinal herbs, dried lizards. Old men with flowing beards offering thousand-year-old jewelry, razors, whipping sticks, electric flashlights, crocodile teeth. Little girls in rags, selling eggs and hot bread. Here and there, cows are contemplating offered goods with a hieratic gaze. Zen Tatsu, a 12-year-old child is being scolded by his uncle for getting distracted by this busy scene. Bharata. Hurry up, they're already here. In the middle of the square, a turbaned crowd gathers around a thickly bearded old man, cross-legged. The crowd gives way to let in the arriving people. Zen Tatsu sits down, facing the old man. His uncle heads to the thick of the crowd where bets are being taken. A bettor. 1,000 rupees on the old man. Another bettor. 2,000 rupees on Zen Tatsu. The cacophony of voices ceases slowly as the two opponents stare at each other. Someone breaks into a strange song. Zen Tatsu. Point of view. Colors fade progressively. Space itself seems to become limitless. Time enters a different dimension, and there, beyond the horizon, the spellbinding look of the opponent. 11. Exterior. Afternoon. A few hours later. In a pit. A few hours later, in the bottom of a pit, night approaches and the child is squatting, gazing at the darkening sky above him. His uncle Bharata appears at the edge of the pit. Bharata. Zen Tatsu, believe me, from now on, when I bet on you, you better not make me lose. Here's for your training. And he throws on the pit a small bag, which hits the ground with a mat noise, but strangely continues moving and twisting. The child opens it cautiously, and a magnificent cobra slowly emerges. After the first shudder of surprise, he braces himself up, instinctively lifting his thin neck, and trying with his immense eyes to meet the cobra's cold gaze. Zen Tatsu and cobra point of view. The two opponents are observing each other, alternating moments of slow movements, with others of blazing speed, during which, one has the impression of seeing sudden flashes of lightning. One can also perceive the sound of difficult breathing. 12. Interior. In an apartment. TV screen. On a TV screen, the title of the show, No Niceties. The show hostess. From the cradle, fairies have showered her with talents. The artist we introduce to our audience today, is gifted with beauty, and artistic talent, fame, and fortune. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eva Reeves. Music accompanies Eva's entrance on the studio stage. In answer to the show hostess' words, Mike makes an ironic gesture with his hand to Sandra, who laughs, and at the same time looks at him disapprovingly. Eva. Sitting down. I am not sure I can accept all your compliments. The show hostess is a more than middle-aged woman, and not very pretty. Deep ocean blue eyes, however, are hidden behind her slightly distorting glasses. The show hostess, in your new collection of poems, Lonely Words, we discover a fragile, misunderstood, almost lonely woman, even though your real life is totally different. Love, luxury and glamour. Eva. What do you call real life? Anyone can tell you that a dolphin moves its head to express positive feelings, while it's actually a display of aggressiveness. You can also view things from a different angle. Where is my truth? Is it what I perceive with my senses, or is it what you want to see in me? The show hostess. True, a human being, let alone an artist like you, is multidimensional. But, to be honest, in your case, I can't see what holds together so many apparently contradictory aspects. Eva. Precisely, it depends from which angle you're looking at things. 13. Interior, in an apartment, Mike. To Sandra. What the hell is she talking about? Do you understand anything of what she says? The moron. Why doesn't she mention how great my pizzas are instead? Sandra. I want to hear what she says. 14. Interior, in a room, morning. In a very ordinary room, a 12-year-old little, kind and thick-looking girl is writing something in Bulgarian. Tears are dropping down her cheeks. Nearby, a silken rug with ink stock. Dear Mama,